Do you know what a do-over is? When you were a kid and you messed up, you go, oh, Mom, Dad, can I do that over? And they go, okay, do-over. That's a chance to perfect something. That's a chance to get it right. If we didn't have a do-over, what would we be here for? We're going through the spiritual do-over, and I want to explain what it is because you can use it in every part of your life. And it's very important right now to look at this and ask yourself if the do-over isn't in order right now for you. If you do over, wow, some amazing cool stuff can happen. We're in a major shift right now, so let me explain that. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Are you ready for the do-over? Now, I talked about the boomerang effect, and it's really the same thing. The boomerang effect is the incident, the situation that goes out and comes back again. The do-over is a different response to that. We have a do-over going on right now, so you might think the world is in a horrible place and things are getting worse. It's the opposite. It is the, let's just say, the dissolving of things that don't work, only if we do over and the response is different. If the response remains the same, we stay in conflict, blame, thinking that everybody's trying to control us instead of understanding that we've always had our own control and that we create the changes on the planet. And as a community, the more of us come together, if we're making higher, more compassionate, loving choices, that has to happen. It must happen. It's quantum physics. So the do-over is, let's look at your personal life first. Have you been doing things constantly through your life that don't work? Relationships? Do you go into relationships that may be negative or abusive? You stay in them, and then you're still, even if you get out of it, still blaming other people for things, right? It's always somebody else's fault. Somebody else is supposed to fix you, all right? You have a do-over there. It's time for us to look here and say, you know what? I still haven't mastered that. Why is that not working for me? Why am I still in that position? Because I get to do it over and stop being that person who allows the world to determine who and what I am. All right, and you change the story. Okay, I'll give you another example. Do you financially struggle all the time? Look at your response to that consistently, because there's a pattern. So maybe you're getting better at things, but there's definitely a pattern. And so if you want to take Breakthrough Fear, one of my courses, I help people to understand what it is and to break past it. We break through the fear and we understand it because it is part of the teachings. We don't want to eliminate fear because fear is the false story, appearing to be real. And so the false evidence appearing to be real. And it is really, it seems to be real. So your fear is what creates the story and the limitations. So you live in that. The do-over is, wait a minute, there's another story to this. I haven't mastered this. So I'm blaming my parents, I'm blaming my spouse, I'm blaming the world, the government. Wait, that doesn't work because I'm empowered. And so maybe there's some choices out there that are at a lower level, but I get to do over how I respond. And that starts with, how do I think of other people? Am I going into hate and blame? Am I looking at the government and saying, it's their fault? Or am I realizing, wait a minute, we as a community have to start to take control of that. Not in control over that, but controlling our joy and our happiness, our giving, and the structures that we can create in a peaceful, loving, wonderful way where everyone is happy and abundant because there is no lack and everybody has equal power. So what are we going to go into? It's like the do-over is we as a society can stop abusing the planet and one another and stop thinking of ourselves as separate beings because we have different skin color or want to do certain things. Smaller communities work, and when bigger communities try to take over smaller communities, it doesn't work. It's not allowing for individualism, and we have to allow for that. We have to do over and say, you know what, there is no one way to live. That some people want to live a certain way, and as long as they have respectful actions toward the planet and others, they should be able to do that. And so the communities then contribute to one another. Now this sounds like some, new earth thing that might go in a direction that you think is dangerous. Well, it's not. Because as long as you have everything that you desire and need, and your thoughts are toward the other first and theirs are toward you, that's a community that's pretty amazing. And yes, there'll still be lessons, because the earth comes with lessons. And so we get to learn and evolve from that. But my question to you is, what do you need to do over right now? You personally, that will change a pattern and a response that has not been positive. When something happens, do you automatically go into negativity and blame of certain types of people or certain countries or anything else? Do you do that? That is the lowest form of density. And that is not unconditional love and compassion. That's not understanding that there's certain things going on that we have to go through and learn so that we can master them. So the do-over for you personally should be to understand that there's purpose in absolutely everything that's going on out there. And if my response is to, again, point more fingers and say somebody else to blame, maybe it's time to do over and say, okay, what can I learn from this? That is happening over here. Well, now I know why it's happening. There's an imbalance, and in ego and frequency. Okay, I get that. What's the response to that? What's the do-over? Because now, how can I think of that differently? And what can I do in response that's really going to contribute in a positive way, instead of sitting here and watching, misinformation and then screaming at the television or whatever you watch and saying the world is wrong. Do-over, you personally, and look at every part of your life right now. And I have done this with myself. I actually taking one of my own courses called Tap Into Your Power. I actually take it myself because there's journaling and practices. And I'm actually listening and doing everything. And I thought, wow, okay, we're so close to ourselves that we can't even see as spiritual awakened people some things that still happen, or that we do, or that we think even that we can change. We're always open for improvement, every single one of us. If you're on this planet, you can improve. And even when you go to the other side, you continue to evolve. Even if you're a light, high-level light being, even if you go to super enlightenment, there's still another level to go to. And that's exciting, because it would be boring if we were just like, nee. It's like, oh, okay, now what? All right, yeah, great. And these things on this planet give us challenges. We don't need the challenges that are so extreme, because if we do over, we can change this world, and everyone will start to understand that they too can live a life of peace and love and abundance. They can, everyone can. Let's come together to do that. So, do over. What do you need to do over? Just you. How am I thinking? And because that's probably how I've always been thinking. What do I believe about other people? Am I separating myself from everybody, thinking that there's somebody better or worse than somebody else? Can I do over and realize there's no worse, there's no better or worse? There just is. I am that. I am that. I am the one. There's only one source, and it is everything. Somebody asked if I, thought that there was some, evil or whatever coming, talking through me. I'm like, first of all, I don't channel and hand over my, my existence and consciousness to somebody else. We are that. You don't have to channel an entity or a group. You know why? Because they're always talking to you. You, everybody. We have access to it. If you get out of your way, you get those messages all the time. It's you. It's not a voice going, Landria, you might. I don't get that. I'm just like, just get the thoughts in, and I know it's the higher consciousness beyond the human body that has all the answers. And that I can just share that information with you, and it's no entity or anything else. And if the message is anything less than love and compassion, then it's coming from another part of you that's going into that frequency and tuning into that station. That's all it is. All right? So do you need to change your station? Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next video. All right, please subscribe. Come on over to LandriaOnkka.com. That's in the description. Sign up for my emails. Get my training, and then you're going to hear about the new courses coming out that are amazing. You know what? For less than $30, you get training, a 2-hour webinar with me in the Miracle Circle. We go into the space of miracles, and that's once a month we do that. But you get a whole month of a practice and trainings for you to go into that miracle space. Why would you not do that? These are free. Why would you not, change your life in what you do for a living if you don't like what you're doing? Here, no excuses. Spiritual butt kick, no excuses. You can sit there and make all kinds of stories up, or you can say, you know what, I have tools to change my life and others. I have the tools to reach the globe. I have tools to create income online, to give myself freedom so I can be with my family. You can have all kinds of excuses, but it's all sitting right here. These are free videos. Check it out. Free videos down below. Check them out. Don't judge anything anymore. If you want to go into space of expansiveness, you got to let that go, right? Do over. You're whole and perfect. Please subscribe and share my videos. Loving, harmonious, and happy blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.